we're white people, they're Native people, we all have the same things in common. We all like fashion. It might not have worked out so well, and people cringe at the thought of taking, these beautiful buckskin dresses out of museum archives and then putting them on these, I don't even know, these runway models. They were all in college, these young hip chicks with 40s hairstyles. It was really cool. So she was like, would you be interested in picking up where my research leaves off and look at Native American fashion that has been created since the 1940s to the present. And I thought she was crazy because I didn't know that such a thing really existed, right? So I did what every good scholar does, and I Googled Native American fashion. And I found a little tiny trail. These little little crumbs, a picture here, a quote there. So it was evident that something was happening, something was going on with this idea of contemporary Native American made clothing. And I found a couple of designers and I reached out to them and they helped me out so much. They shared stories with me, their experiences, bad experiences, what worked, what didn't work. And they handed over all of these images. So I got these really cool images of chicks in the 80s, the big hair and the hip, little, oh my gosh, lame, is that what it's called? Taffeta dresses. All of this really wild stuff. And, but I didn't have a way to share this with anybody. There was no way for me to share it with other people. But we had this kind of unspoken agreement that they're giving me so much. They're giving me all this information, all these images from their personal collection, and I was going to share it with the world. But when you're in academia and you write a class paper, like, who reads it? One person, maybe your professor reads it really fast. That really was so frustrating to me because I needed to get this out there. And so I just created my own venue. I just created my own vehicle. So keep this in mind. Nobody's gonna give you a website, nobody's gonna give you a tour, nobody's gonna give you anything, you just gotta create it yourself and do it. So I started this blog. Anybody can start a blog. And this is it, it's called Beyond Buckskin. And I love that title, I didn't make it up, I'm not that creative. It was Shelby Tisdale who did it, she's one of my advisors. And it's this idea of deconstructing, like thinking past just buckskin, thinking past just turquoise, thinking past just fringe, just moccasins, whatever it might be. It's going beyond that. So it's really exciting. And on this blog, I post a lot. I write a lot. I have a lot to say. And I get to say whatever I want. It's my blog. So one of the things that I do, as you can see in this top menu thing here, I do profiles, designer profiles. This is really cool. This is where I sit down with an artist or a designer and I get really cool information from them. How did they get into this? What is the best part of this? What is the easiest? I like that question. What's the easiest part of being a designer? And they all say the same thing. What easy part? There's nothing easy. So this is Paul Rowley. He's Haida and Klingit from Alaska, and he uses traditional weaving techniques, red cedar bark, and he weaves these really cool hats in new forms like fedoras. And then you go down, we have Kristen Dorsey, who is Chickasaw from the southeastern tribes. Genevieve Hardy, who's doing these remixes of Navajo rugs. Lisa Shepard, who's Métis, and Alana Wadzurza, which I am wearing right now. So it's just so much fun. You get to learn that these people exist, and they're really talented and really quite amazing. They have awesome things to say. Sage Paul, really cool. So Then there's also the dark side. I like to call it the dark side, and not in a good way. Sometimes there's the dark side and it's good. It's like, I'm bringing you to the dark side. Not in this case. This is appropriation. And the thing is that appropriation happens, it's sharing. I'm really interested in when appropriation becomes misappropriation, and when inspiration becomes stealing. When representations of Native American people on the runway become just the same old stereotypes. So this is where, for those of you who like friendlier posts, don't go here. I've gotten some people tell me that I need to be nicer, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be nice. I'm nice everywhere else except for here. So for example, and this is where I get a little bit more academic, a little bit more critiquey. Come on in! Do you guys want to be all sitting together, probably? Can we have everybody move up, or back, or spread in the middle, so we can get these guys? Ooh, there's some really great seats up here. Oh, and if you guys take pictures, take a lot of pictures, and tag it, hashtag Beyond Buckskin, one word. Yeah. Yay, you guys are so cool, teamwork. Okay, so back to this. I also get a little bit more academic-y, a little bit more critique-y. So this one, for example, critiques John Galliano, who is a very famous fashion designer and who has looked to, quote-unquote, the Native American for inspiration. And some of his work I actually like. Some of it is just the same old Pocahontas story. That's what I say in this. So if you're interested in, how I'm looking at these ideas of appropriation versus misappropriation, sharing versus stealing, you can look at this section. So another thing that happened really recently, and I'm going to try to be as PC as possible. This is an event, a situation, an incident that occurred in September. So just a couple months ago, this is Paul Frank. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of Paul Frank. Raise it high. Paul Frank? No. You know who it is. It's this monkey guy. Now you know, it's this monkey guy. Okay, so this occurred. It was called Fashion's Night Out, Dream Catching. And so they had this whole Native American theme. Native American themes are so hot right now. I'm so glad that I'm a theme that's hot right now. But what really, for those of us who, I do consider myself an academic, but I also consider myself very closely connected to my community. I live back home. I live in the Turtle Mountains. I live in a teeny tiny town, which is very, very far from any fashion mecca, but I think it's so important to have connections to whatever your community is. You should, know who you are and have that connection. This really bothered me. This was their flyer for the whole thing. This is a representation of Paul Frank the monkey guy. I can't remember his name right now. Julius the monkey. And he's wearing a Plains Indian men's headdress. And the thing about the headdress is that the headdress is made out of eagle feathers. You don't just get eagle feathers. You guys know what eagles are, right? They're pretty cool. For the Plains tribes, well actually for a lot of tribes, they look to the eagle as a very important, relative almost, because the eagle is seen as that which flies the highest. And the eagle is seen as the messenger between us and the Creator. The eagle's the one who checks on us to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, that we're not misbehaving. that we're being good and reports back. And when we do something good, when we have an achievement, we get an eagle feather as an honoring of achieving something. I have 2 eagle feathers. I worked really hard for those 2 eagle feathers. And that's all I got. I'm like, oh man, oh more. What else can I achieve? But back in the day, eagle feathers were also given to men who fought to protect our community, who fought for our people. And whenever they did something good on the battlefield, they were also given an eagle feather. A man alone can create his own headdress, but you can also give away your eagle feather. The 2 that I worked hard for, I can give them away to somebody who I think should be our leader. That's what happened with Sitting Bull before he became the Sitting Bull that you guys all know. The different tribes got together and made a decision, and they made that decision by giving over their eagle feathers. It was almost like a form of voting, because they knew that this man was cared deeply about them and was always going to make sure that they're okay, that their children are okay, grandchildren are okay. So when you know all that and you live all that, and that's still an active part of our culture and our community, when you see something like this, it's like a knife stabbing you in the heart, and it's so sad. It's so disrespectful. It is taking everything that we stand for and spitting on it and saying it's not important, it's for fun, it's for dress up, it's for play. It's not. It is who, at the very core of who we are, and really speaks to our value systems. So this really made me upset. Kids were encouraged to dress up and carry around these tomahawks. And this is really cruel because the rain dance is an actual ceremony that we participate in. A lot of times in preparation for a ceremony, you fast, you abstain from things. Alcohol is one of those things that people who are really dedicated to the community do not drink. So to create a rain dance refresher with vodka is just another slap in the face on top of this. And then this really bothered me too. This is an image of 3 people. The middle one is Christina Milian. She is a singer. She had a hit, I think, once. And no, seriously, I don't know. So here she is, and this really bothers me because people were encouraged to engage in this kind of mock scalping and mock beheading, these savage acts. And the images are still out there. We want an apology, Paul Frank. Now this is before, I didn't know that Paul Frank the man was separate from Paul Frank the company. The company actually booted out the man. And this is really sad because he can't even use his own name because it's copyrighted and owned by the company. So I said, since you are profiting off of a caricature of our cultures, a donation to a Native American youth art program would be fitting to accompany your apology. Native American culture. There's hundreds. There are millions of Native American people. And when you think that there's only one Native American culture, oh my goodness, we have a problem. So we need to start right there. However, due to some comments we have received, we are removing all photos from the event and would like to formally and sincerely apologize. Thank you everyone for your feedback and support. And then, something amazing happened. Not only did they apologize, but the president of Paul Frank Industries reached out to me and Adrian Keene and wrote us a letter and said, hey, can we talk? And this kind of freaked me out because it's like, oh my gosh, what does he want to know about? What does he want my phone number? What? Is he gonna find out where I live? No, it was really good. It was amazing. Everything that we, quote unquote, demanded, they're doing, and then some. So this is the list of what actions Paul Frank Industries have taken They have already removed all of the Native-inspired designs from their digital online content. They have gone through the style guide, even into the archives, and removed all of the Native imagery. Now this is important because the Native American imagery that they're talking about is not that comes from Native people. Okay, these are other people, non-Native people, creating images and representations of us. This is really significant because we, as Native American people, do not have the basic human right to represent ourselves in mainstream society. This is really critical. We don't have that right. That's being taken away from us. And people are telling us to get over it. It's just for fun. It's not a big deal. We don't have that right to represent ourselves. That's really bad thing. So they removed all of the imagery. They sent a letter to their manufacturers saying, you cannot use this imagery. And then he has invited Adrian and I to collaborate with him on a panel about the use of Native American imagery at the International Licensing Merchandisers Association. So these are the big wigs in the fashion industry, and we get to do a panel presentation in front of them. And we get to tell them, here's the issues, these are what you're dabbling in when you do the headdress thing. And then the most exciting part, Paul Frank Industries would like to collaborate with a Native American artist or more, there might be more, to make designs where the proceeds would be donated to a Native cause. And the president, Ellie Deckel, he said, I'm genuinely embarrassed about this event and what happened. And I want to help you guys to get your voices out there however I can. And we do not want to profit one dime off of this collaboration. So the collaboration that they're going to do with the Native Designer or more is the proceeds will go to whatever Native American program or programs that we say. So this is really, really cool. It's happening right now. We've already spoken with people at Paul Frank, I think 4 times now. So we're moving forward with all of these projects. And this is just so significant. This is like the dream come true. This is what we're hoping that we'll create a model for other people in the fashion industry, such as Victoria's Secret or No Doubt, or I mean the list can go on, where they will collaborate with Native people. Because that's what I think, truly I think the answer is collaborations. Because when you collaborate, you come together and you learn about each other as individuals. You learn about each other as members of certain communities, as members of certain tribal affiliations or whatever. So you get to learn more about them one-on-one. So I really advocate for collaborations and working together. So this is one aspect of what I do. I talk a lot. And people were asking me, okay, well, this is all cool and all, but where can we buy Native fashion? You're telling us not to buy these, I call them knockoffs. Telling us not to buy the knockoffs, but where do we buy the real stuff? And so, for example, whenever I write about these designers, well, I say, well, go to the designer. But a lot of people don't feel comfortable going to a certain person and harassing them and saying, can you make me something? Can I have something? Can I buy something? So I created the Beyond Buckskin Boutique. So this is the offshoot of the blog, where the blog is a source of education, educating about this stuff. The boutique is all about showcasing the designers, the individual pieces you can buy on here. We have stuff on here, everything from $15 earrings to a $12,000 purse, and everything in between. I work with several designers. You can see their names all at the bottom. I think there's about 30 artists who I'm talking to right now. I think we have about 2 dozen that are actually on the site right now. And I get to talk to Native artists and designers every day. So I have an amazing job. I get to get inspired by them and remember what I'm doing, because this is also about, again, that idea of representation, stealing the runway. And this is the first ever Beyond Buckskin runway show, so really excited about it. We're going to be showing you guys some of the streetwear stuff. So streetwear, you know, is like the t-shirts, you know, the stuff that's easy, easy for you to buy, to purchase, to wear, to make your own. There's also couture fashion, which is a little bit more, you know. So we have a ton of stuff on here. And people from all over. Let's see. We've got couture jewelry, so the higher end stuff. On the left, you have the vintage coral necklace, the Loxie earrings. You're going to see some bracelets by Kristen Dorsey on the runway. Kristen Dorsey, she's this little tiny Chickasaw woman, and she is a metalsmith, and I think that's just so cool. And she knows all about metals, and she makes these little tiny turtle shells, each one of them individually. And she turns them into earrings. You're going to see the bracelets on the runway. Some really, really cool stuff. I wanted to show you a little bit because we're not going to do speaking during the fashion show. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what you'll see before you see it. I don't know if that's cheating or not. So you'll see some stuff by Alana Wizardza. On the left is this eagle hoodie. He is from the Northwest Coast, and he has this very distinctive Northwest Coast style, but he makes it his own. And on the far right, he makes these are called the sea monster tunic dress, so these dresses. And what he does, which is so cool, is that he'll take Northwest Coast designs that he makes himself, and then he blows them up. And he silk screens his designs onto these tunics. So that's exactly what I'm wearing now. And so you get this really cool print that he made himself. It's really quite awesome.
We have Dr. Earring. Hey,